Hi all, welcome to Geneso IT Trainings. My name is Sagar. In this video, we'll be discussing about how to launch a Linux server in AWS, which is called as EC2 Instance, and how can we connect it using the Mobaxterm. So we'll be launching a Linux server in AWS, and we'll be connecting that particular Linux server with the help of Mobaxterm. So before I start, I would request everybody to subscribe my channel. Thank you so much. So let us launch a Linux server which is called as EC2 Instance in AWS. So let me open my favorite browser, which is Google Chrome, and you can open your favorite browser and just open Google and type AWS Management Console. First log into your AWS account. So with the help of AWS Management Console, click on the first link that is being provided, and you'll be landing up onto this page, and click on sign in to the console, and that's where you'll be requested to provide the user ID and password. So click on the user ID, which is my personal email ID. I'm trying to give it here. Click on the next. It will ask you for some characters. Please ensure you type the correct characters here and enter your password. Once you log in to AWS account, so you'll be able to look at some of the services that are being available here, which are recently used. If you're using AWS account for the first time, you make sure you click on the services here. Click on the services, and under the section of compute, you have a section called as EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud, which is called as Elastic Compute Cloud EC2. So click on this EC2 section. Click on the EC2 section, and it will land up onto this particular page. And make sure where you're actually launching your server. It means that in which region you're trying to launch your server. So this is the place where you'll be able to identify in which region you're inside. So which is very, very important, which I have even said this in my previous video. So which I'll share the link in the description section. So make sure wherever you're trying to launch your server, that particular region, you remember it. And if you look at this particular page, instances page, EC2 section page, here it clearly says or shows all the resources and instances that are currently running are 0. You don't have any instances that are currently running. So instances are nothing but the servers that you're trying to launch in the AWS. So, and whenever you would like, if you would like to create a new instance, or if you would like to create a new server, you click on this button, instances, and you have a section called as launch instances. You see here it is available, launch instances. Click on the launch instances, and the moment you click on the launch instances, you'll be expected to go through a series of steps, which are somewhere around 7 steps to be completed. So it starts from 1 here, choose AMI, and finally you'll be reviewing the server that you're trying to launch, and you'll be launching the server. So you have to configure all these 7 steps, which are very simple steps, and you'll try to understand what these are. And the first step is nothing but choose AMI, which is nothing but choose an Amazon machine image. See, what exactly this AMI is all about. Imagine you purchase a laptop for the first time, and in order for that laptop to have an operating system, you'll be selecting either Windows, or you'll be selecting Windows 8, Windows 10. Similarly, whatever server you are trying to launch, you need to select what image or what operating system you want your server to have with, or you want your server to be installed with. So that is the first step. So whenever you purchase a laptop, you'll be asking the shopkeeper, saying that I want a Windows operating system, I want a Linux operating system, I want Windows 10 operating system. In the same way, whenever you're trying to launch a server or launch an instance, either I call it as a server, either I call it as an instance, or I call it as a machine, I'm referring to something called as a EC2 instance. So which is nothing but a server. So in order to launch the server, the first step you have to do is you have to choose an AMI, which is Amazon machine image. So this image is nothing but either you can select Amazon Linux, or Red Hat Linux, or Ubuntu Linux. But in this video, I'll be selecting Ubuntu Server 20.04 version, LTS, which is a long-term support. So this particular version I'll be selecting. And if you observe carefully, you have something called as free tier eligible. So you make sure you are going to select this free tier eligible AMI itself, because your AWS, whenever you create AWS account, it provides somewhere around some free hours. There are some free eligible things that are available, so you can make use of them. So this particular image falls under that free tier eligible, so you can make use of it. So AWS provides somewhere around 750 EC2 instances, or 750 hours of EC2 instances. You can make use of it. So 750 hours, if I'm not wrong, it will be for free of cost per month. So for 1 year they'll be providing it to you. So first thing, you select this image. So I'll be selecting this Ubuntu server. So click on this, select, and immediately you'll be taken to the second step, which is choose an instance type. And in the instance type, you try to select T2.micro, which is of vCPUs of 1 and 1 GB of RAM is going to be provided. So this is a much more specifications of the type of the instance you are trying to select. So it will help you to select 1 GB of RAM, or here you have 2 GB of RAM, here you have 4 GB of RAM. So you can select anything of your choice, but I would recommend you to select T2.micro, which is a free tier eligible, so that you'll not get any sort of a billing. You can make use of these 750 hours of availability in the AWS account. So you don't have to really spend your money. So they're giving it for free. So select this T2.micro and click on next here, next configure instance details. And here, whenever you're trying to select configure instance details, these might be pretty new for you. You might not be aware at this moment. If you're launching for the first time, you might not be aware of it. So you'll be trying to select the type of the network and type of the subnet and auto assign public IP. All these things might be little new to you, so you don't really worry about it. So slowly, as we keep progressing for the further videos, you'll be able to understand what these are. And there'll be exclusively a different section or a class on instances itself. So at that time, I'll be explaining each and every single point that is being available here and on what is what. But for this session, we are trying to launch an instance. You don't really require to understand all these details. So make sure you simply scroll down and just observe these details. Even if you do not understand these details, nothing much to worry, and click on the next. And next is nothing but here, we have the storage. So initially you will be getting, for your Linux server, you'll be getting 8 GB of the storage. So this should be sufficient for you to launch a Linux server. So just leave it as it is. You don't have to add any other volume. And in my course, again, I'll be teaching you how to add a new volume, how to attach more volumes, and what is this IOPS, and what is the throughput, and what is this delete on termination protection. Everything will be explained. But as of now, this video is exclusively to launch a server. So we will be launching a server. Just keep the size of the server to 8 GB and click on the next. And you have the tags here. It's simply the name, a tag that you can give for your server. So I'll add a tag. It's always a good practice to add tags for your servers. So I'll just give a name tag, and the name is going to be first EC2 instance. First EC2 instance. This is the name of the tag I'm trying to give. And click on the next here, which shows configure security group. So the moment you hear the word security group, it says the security of the instance. Security group talks about the security of the particular instance. Slowly as we keep on moving in the further with the course, I'll be explaining there will be a specific class only on the security group. But at least to make you understand what the security group is all about, let me tell you. Suppose imagine you would like to allow only few servers to connect to this particular server that you're trying to launch. So at that time, what we will be doing is we'll be defining specific security group rules. We'll be defining it here. Suppose imagine we want a specific set of IPs to be connecting to our server that we are trying to launch. Then you can make use of the security group here. So initially, whenever you're trying to launch a EC2 instance for the first time, I would recommend you to create a new security group. So you have the option available here, create a new security group that is being available here, and change the name of it. I'll simply give it as allow all, and description also, whatever description you would like to give it, you can give. I'll give the same thing as a description. And here under the type, you select all traffic. And why we are selecting this all traffic, slowly you'll get to know. Whenever I talk about the security group class, at that time you'll understand why I'm doing it. So you just make sure you follow the series of steps that I'm trying to explain it to you here, and select all traffic and click on the review and launch. And this is where you can review all the details. You have the what AMI you selected, and what is the instance type you selected, what is the security group you selected, what is the storage you have, what tags you have given, and what are the instance details. Everything you can review once before launching your server. Once you feel that whatever details you gave are absolutely fine and they're correct, then you can simply click on this button called as launch, so that you will be launching your server. And the moment you click on launch, for the first time, if you're using AWS account, it will be asking you to select a Keypair. And what is this Keypair all about? I'll be making one video after this. After this, I'll be making a video what exactly this Keypair is all about, and why do we use it, and what is it exactly. So a Keypair is nothing but an authentication mechanism. If you would like to connect to your server, you need to have this particular Keypair. You need to have this particular Keypair to log into your server that you're trying to launch now. So for that initially you'll not be having a Keypair. So what I would request you is create a new Keypair. See, look at this, create a new Keypair. Select this drop down and select create a new Keypair, and here give the name of your choice. I'll give my name and Geneso Sagar. Geneso is the Keypair name, which will be saved in the form of a PEM file, .pem file. It will be saved. So you click on the download Keypair. This is the only time you will be able to download the Keypair. So you have to ensure that you keep this Keypair safely. You lose this Keypair, you will not be able to connect to your server. So make sure you download the Keypair and keep it safely. So I'm downloading the Keypair, and it gets downloaded, and this is the place. I'll just keep it on my desktop for my future reference. So I'll cut this and I'll go to my desktop and I'll paste it here. See, look at this. I have pasted my PEM file here. This is in the form of a PEM file, .pem file. This is the Keypair I downloaded, which is provided by the AWS, and and come down and select the launch instances. And now you have downloaded the Keypair and launched the instances. And scroll down, and you have the button here, view instances. Whatever instances you have launched, click on it so that you'll be able to view them. See, look at this. So this is the name of the instance that we launched, first EC2 instance. This is what we have it. And if you look at the instance state here, it says it is pending. And look at the instance type, it is t2.micro, which is a free tier eligible. And now look at this instance state. It has changed from pending to running state. So whenever it changes from pending to running state, it means that your instance is ready. So sometimes if you would like to refresh this entire page, you have this button called as refresh button. Just simply click on this so that it refreshes. And you have the checkbox. You have only one instance available here. We have only one instance. If you have multiple instances, you can select a particular instance of your choice by clicking on this checkbox here. And how do you launch, or how do we connect to this particular instance that we created right now and right away? How do we do it? So simply click on this particular button here. Click on this particular instance, and you should be able to observe here my cursor, and you simply scroll this up. Simply scroll this up. Scroll up like this. And the moment you scroll up, the moment you select this particular instance here, you'll be able to identify some of the details of this instance. See, look at this. You have instance ID, you have public IPv4 address, you have private IPv4 address. What is this public IPv4 address? What is this private IPv4 address? You'll be able to understand them whenever I teach you virtual private, VPC. Whenever I talk about VPC in the AWS, I'll be explaining about what is this public IPv4 address and private IPv4 addresses. So these are the details you'll be able to identify. So in order to connect to this server, one of the IP address that you require is public IPv4 address. You require this public IPv4 address. You see this button here, which is nothing but a copy button. So this is nothing but your public IPv4 address. You copy this button, you copy it, you copy your public IPv4 address. Go to your desktop, open the Mobaxum. See here, I have Mobaxum here, I'm opening it. And look at this particular option, session. You have to open a session, new session. Click on this session and click on the SSH. Every Linux server will be able to connect. You will be able to connect only through the SSH, SSH sessions. So click on the SSH here, and here remote host. Whatever remote host you have it, you paste your public IPv4 address. You paste your public IPv4 address and specify the username. Whenever you launch a Linux server with the help of Ubuntu operating system, if you remember, the first step we have selected the choose AMI, Amazon machine image. So at that time I have selected Ubuntu. Whenever you launch your AWS EC2 instance with Ubuntu, so by default your username is going to be Ubuntu. And you type your Ubuntu here and go to the advanced section here, advanced SSH settings, and use a private key. You remember the Keypair that we have downloaded? That is called as the private key. I'll explain in the next video what exactly is this private key, how it works, and why is it used for, and what is the purpose of the private key. This private key, whatever we have downloaded under the name of Sagar Geneso, and that private key will help us to log in into this particular server. Without that private key, you will not be able to log in into that server. If you lose that private key, you will not get it back from the AWS. So make sure you save the private key safely, and you browse the file which is on the desktop, and I'm trying to type Sagar Geneso. So look at this. This is my private key PEM file, and I'll open it. I'll click on OK. See, the moment I click on OK, it will take you to a new session. See, I'm trying to log in into the new session. See, look at this. If you're able to see the screen, Ubuntu and the host name, this is called as a host name. I'll explain in my further videos, future videos, what exactly these are. So this is a video to understand how to launch a EC2 instance. How do you connect to that particular instance? So the moment you see this page and you click on enter here, so that you'll go to the new line, and you have launched successfully an EC2 instance, and you have even connected to that particular instance with the help of Mobaxterm. So this is what I have cleared the screen. Control L is the shortcut for it to clear the screen, and you can execute any Linux commands if you're aware of, and you can type some Linux commands and see the output on the Linux server. So what we have done in this video, we have created a Linux instance with the Amazon machine image of Ubuntu, and we connected to that particular Linux instance or Linux server with the help of Mobaxterm. So this is what this video is all about, and that's all for this video. Thank you so much for listening. Please do subscribe my channel. I'll be coming up with new videos as well. Thank you.